Hello, squatters. We're back with another one. Let's keep engaging. I laughed when I read an article about the National Colored Congress. I don't know if you know about that political party, which is claiming actually to represent the colored community. And I'll give you my view why I'm concerned. As much as we have parties like Patriotic Alliance, which is also said to be representing the colored communities, and they are saying the colored communities were actually isolated, they were sidelined, and everything. Some of us who know the truth will not buy into those stories. I will tell you why, by the way. The colored community, during the apartheid, they were regarding themselves as white people. It's a fact. You can check anywhere. Jullie praat Afrikaans, jullie het Afrikaans geleerd, en jullie denken jullie is Afrikaners. They don't think they are black. By that time, they were associating themselves. I don't like to buy into the story of people who are two-sided. It's either you are this side or you are that side. I will tell you why I'm saying this. During the apartheid, they were comfortable and they were calling themselves whites. And then come 1994, when the democratic elections came and black people had the majority, ANC took over, and now they started to realize that now white people were losing power. Then they squeezed themselves in, saying, no, now we are Africans, my brother, and we must live together. And here's my problem on this. They are biased. And by the way, on the article, they had to postpone their conference. I don't know, they call it a conference or a rally or what. It was just a hall, an empty hall with chairs, and people didn't attend. Anyway, there's no one who will be interested in this unity, by the way. So they had to postpone whatever they were arranging there. I don't have a personal problem with colored people, but I have a problem of how they conduct themselves. Number one, we are talking about people who are not willing to learn our cultures as black people. They call themselves Africans, but they are not willing to learn our cultures, our languages. They still insist to speak Afrikaans, hulle praat Afrikaans, or they speak English. Nothing other than that. And now you start to question yourself. Even people like Gayton, Mackenzie, they are biased, these people. I will tell you why, by the way. Gayton Mackenzie cannot speak proper Zulu or proper Sotho or proper Tsonga or any other African language except for English and Afrikaans. He is a cook from the same pot. So it doesn't help us as ordinary people who are Africans. Thina sikhulele kasi, by the way. And as a spy, sibeke njalo nje. She sivutha amalanga bevele siyayiphaka nje. Ababuye kasi bazongi-understand ukuthi ngikhuluma ngani. So we are from the ghetto, those who don't understand. We are from the ghetto, we are from the townships, and we know the history of our country. You might tell me about other histories of other countries. Probably, yeah, I will accept. But for this country, I'm very much familiar with the history of what happened. And now, they claim to be isolated, but if you look at it closer, they themselves are actually isolating themselves. I'm staying in Joburg, and I can tell you now the areas where coloreds are staying. And where they are staying, the colored communities, they don't want any other people. You can stay there if you are white. They relate to white people. They relate to Afrikaner speaking people. like Africans. They relate to it. That's what they like. Yellow Africans. And then if you stay in that area, maybe you buy a house, maybe in Lenesia, for instance. Lenesia is a place, it's a sort of a suburb in Joburg, outside Soweto, where we know, all of us, that Coloureds are staying there. If you go to Pretoria, we know that Eastras, Coloureds people are staying there. If you go to Cape Town, you know, Cape Flats, Coloureds are staying there. So you cannot disassociate yourself with other people and want to play victim, that you have been isolated, you have been sidelined. You are sidelining yourself. Fix yourself first. How to fix yourself? Number one, learn cultures of other people. Stop undermining other people. Learn languages of other African people. They are staying with us, by the way. Some of them, we do business with them and all of that. They don't want to learn our language. If you greet them and say, hey, Autiam Shapunjan, then they take it somehow. They get offended. They don't want to speak our languages. So must we buy into them? Who is going to vote for them? You know, I feel bad for this political party, National Coloured Congress, because who is going to vote for them? Who is going to vote for division? No one. And if you check the Coloureds community, they are very, very, very small. They are very, very small. Even Gayton struggled to get votes so that he can ascend. There and there he managed, because why? There's Gayton, there's Kenny Kunen, the deputy president of Patriotic Alliance. So I think somehow Gayton used Kenny Kunene as a front to attract black people. More like the Democratic Alliance having Mmusi Maimane at the forefront so that they can attract more black people. But parties like, I will tell you, racist parties in South Africa. Democratic Alliance is a racist party. Freedom Front Plus is a racist party. AfriForum is a racist organization. Patriotic Alliance is a racist party. National Colored Congress is a racist party. Why? These parties are actually based on ethnic groups, ethnicity. They are not based on attracting and building and constructing a positive Africanism where we can interrelate according to our different cultures. It is when you talk about also the MKP. MKP, we know that is a tribalist party. It's a fact. We can deny it whichever the way we want and put some cosmetics there. If you talk about ANC, African National Congress, is a party, a political party for all the ethnic groups. It accommodates everyone. But also within the African National Congress, there is tribalism. Let me break it down for you. 1994, Tata Mandela became the president. 1994, up to 1999. One of the reasons why Cyril Ramaphosa, as he was the Secretary General then, the SG of the ANC, and he was, by the way, the chief negotiator during the CODESA negotiations, one of the reasons why he couldn't ascend into succeeding Nelson Mandela is that he is not Xhosa. I'll put it straight. It makes sense. It will make sense, by the way, as I move on. Nelson Mandela was succeeded by Thabo Mbeki. One of the reasons why Thabo Mbeki could find it easy to qualify into succeeding Nelson Mandela was that he was Xhosa. That is why he could easily qualify. And look at Thabo Mbeki. Thabo Mbeki, when he had 2 terms, the second term he couldn't finish it. Now, the Zulu tribe, Zuma, the Zulu tribe realized that, no, man, this thing of presidency now is they won't tell you this, but I will tell you, and look at it, you will see something there. They realized that, no, this presidency thing now is running around Xhosa tribe, and we don't get a chance. Then Zuma fought for that, used that opportunity. Then he was able to maneuver around, infiltrate that, and convince them to say, I can be in charge. Yes, he became president. When Jacob Zuma became president also, most Zulus benefited in his era. When Nelson Mandela was a president, I'm talking about tribalism in South Africa, plain. I'll put it as it is. I don't want to put cosmetics. During the Mandela era and the Thabo Mbeki era, check how many Xhosa speaking people benefited. They were in government there. There were a lot of Xhosa people, and they benefited heavily when Thabo Mbeki was still a president and Nelson Mandela. The Zulus were sidelined. The Zulus started to benefit when Jacob Zuma became president. Now, all the Zulus now, I don't want to mention names, but you know, many Zulus benefited them. On the first term, they made sure they benefit. Second term, and by the way, before that, if you can check Thabo Mbeki didn't want Jacob Zuma to succeed him. Sorry, he didn't want that. One of the reasons why is because Jacob Zuma was not Xhosa. Thabo Mbeki wanted, who's that mama? I will remember the surname. She was actually there as a parliamentarian, the member of parliament. He wanted her to succeed her based on the fact that we are going to have a woman president, and then all of that. He introduced what do you call that, gender equality and all of that. But behind closed doors, he knew that no, they wanted a Xhosa there. So after Jacob Zuma took over, the Zulu tribe also started benefiting now. And when he realized that now he's about to be pushed out, he nominated Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma to take over from him, knowing very well that she is Zulu. That is tribalism in South Africa that I'm talking about. And he couldn't succeed, and Cyril Ramaphosa came in, and Cyril Ramaphosa took Ntshavheni to be the minister in the presidency. You know why? Because he trusts Ntshavheni, because Ntshavheni is Venda. You see how tribalism goes. And now we have political parties which are based on ethnicity, ethnic group, that this one is. That's where I'm coming into this one, National Colored Congress, that as much as you are promoting disunity, as much as you claim to be a victim, as much as you want to isolate yourself, you'll always be isolated. Whatever that you do will fail, because you are not building unity. You are actually tearing apart all the groups, that you are Venda, you must be there, you Zulu, you must be there, and all of that. So when we talk about tribalism or racism, there is a serious problem in South Africa. All this, why this National Colored Congress didn't join the Patriotic Alliance? Because Patriotic Alliance also represents the same values of colored communities who were disadvantaged, who were disowned by the ANC government and all of that. Why this? I mean, there's nothing that they will be able to build with this rate of ethnic group classification, that we classify ourselves as a colored. So if I'm not colored, the out here say cars, and then I want to join the National Colored Congress, do you think they will accept me? Do you think I'll be treated equally or fairly? Do you think I'll even deserve to have a position there? They will strike, those people. They will strike. There's a huge problem. There's a very, very serious problem of racism and tribalism. That's why I always say, for us to be united as Africans, or South Africans for that matter, why don't we start with tribalism? When we are done with tribalism, we can go to racism, because there's no way we can fight racism, whereas us as Africans, we are still excluding one another based on tribe. That, no, I'm Sotho, this one is Zulu, or this one is Tsonga, this one is Pedi, this one is a vendor, then I can't, there's that problem. So this National Colored Congress is not going anywhere. It's a waste of time, resources, and I don't know who's sponsoring them, by the way. Who can, in their right mind, sponsor a party like that, which is clearly, even itself, the NCC, National Colored Congress. It means only colors are allowed to join the party. Even if they can put the cosmetics to say, no, colors, it's not about colors only, everyone is invited. Why do you say national colors? You represent colors only. And the next moment, we'll have the Khoi. The next moment, no, they will want to have their Orania. By the way, like I mentioned, that if you go to Lenasia, you will find colors. They isolated themselves. That's where they stay. As you can see, Africans prat as you will need also blame. No, near me, bro, near on Suk Afrikaners is on Coloureds Community, you can so blame me, bro. There's a problem. They won't tell you in your face, but with the treatment, you will see that. No. And everywhere we go, where colored communities are, we know that, if you can't speak their language, Afrikaans or English, then to them not all of them, by the way, let me not put one blanket, but majority of them, they think you are dumb. Have you ever seen someone who can't speak your language, and when you can't speak their language, they think you are dumb? But them, they can't speak your own language. We are way behind. Africans, we are way behind, especially South Africans. I don't know about other countries, but here in South Africa, we really need to be serious with this life thing, because this thing is not going to work for us. It's not going to work. When somebody is trying to build something that will collapse, you're just building something that its purpose is just to collapse. Just like this NCC is just, where are they going to campaign, by the way? That's number one. If they want to be voted into, where are they? They will campaign in Pretoria, Yestras, and they will go to, because they are targeting Gauteng, as they say. And Lenasia there, and then that's it. Where? Anyeke bafike Soweto, they won't come to Soweto ezola sezola la siya campaign athini party amakhaladi and all of that. Abantu bazothi no sigrand simoja thina sivaya nani uma EFF, ANC, and also other parties, And if you look at other parties also, they are black, but they represent white people, like Action SA. Action SA is actually DA light. If you want to know something about the Democratic Alliance, look at Action SA. It has got that flavor of DA. I don't know. It's worrisome. It's a concern, because as a country we should be conducting ourselves as people who are having a vision of our country, who want to build our country, who want to make sure that we excel and we welcome one another. That is why on this other episode I mentioned that the Nelson Mandela rainbow thing was just a fallacy. It never existed, and don't tell me about it. If you want to tell me and convince me about it, tell me how it was implemented, where did it start, and where did it work? Did it ever work? That no, we are one, rainbow nation. No, people are not united. Coloureds are there, Afrikaners are there, Other parties, they regard themselves as English parties, they are with white people. They don't want to mingle with black people unless if you are highly educated, you are academia, and then they can welcome you. If you don't have a degree or PhD, they look at you as someone who's very dumb, by the way, and all of that. So That is the problem that we are facing, that if we don't fix these problems, I can tell you now, I don't know, squatters, maybe you will have a different view. Let's keep engaging about these things, because it's worrisome. I always look at our country, what is going on, and from a political point of view, and I'm like, we will never construct anything successful here as much as we are not united. White people have isolated themselves. Black people are also there. There's some sort of competition, Coloureds are this side and all of that. What is happening, people? Why can't we just unite and build something how we can build Rome if we are united? But because there's this unity, and it's not our fault, some of us, we can see the truth, but we can't influence to change, except for coming to this kind of channels, Squatter Camp Podcast, and say our part. Maybe it will change people's perceptions, how they view everything, but racism and tribalism are still a long way to go. Squatters, I'll hear from you. Sharp, sharp.